Hi everyone, this is Veronica, and I'm going to be doing something different today, and I'm going to show you how to do your metals to seal them and protect them and give them longevity and literally for years after the sealant that we put on there. So the products that I have today, this is going to be in a two-part series, by the way, just so you know. The first half is going to cover things that I use with Protect Clear, and then, of course, the cleaning process that it takes to do before we put any seal on. So, and then optional would be using an acrylic sealer. I chose to use the Aleene's, but you can use other product names that they have out there too. So what I'll do is I'll leave the links in the bottom, and you'll have access to the products. You'll also have access to the website of the I guess it's the Everbright brand, and then they have their different names for different sealants. So with that, they'll tell you, I'll leave the link that directly goes to the page that talks about this Protect Clear. Okay. So I just wanted you to come along, and hopefully with your jewelry that you make and sell, you'll get repeat customers, because these things will not tarnish. They won't leave marks on people. They certainly won't cause rashes and things like that. So, and that is a claim that comes from the company itself. And of course, do your research, do your due diligence in finding out this product, about this product, because I've done my research and wanted to find something that I could use that wasn't going to be an irritant to a person's skin, and certainly would love for customers to come back and purchase my products, because they're going to know that they are going to have longevity and not tarnish within a day or two of receiving or purchasing that product. So come along and enjoy the video. So I'll see you in a second. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so this is the project that we're going to do. And I'm also going to show you here some of the chain, different types of chain, and also things that I have already sealed, and to show you how you can reseal them, and all the details that I hope that I can fit into this one tutorial, or if it becomes too long, I will do a part 2, and we'll just go from there. So as you can see here, I have, with the project that I'm going to make, is going to be, I'm going to use these 2 wire guards. Now these are already anti-tarnish or non-tarnish. I received these from online. They are from Adabel, and they are tarnish resistance, but I am still going to do another coating, because like I said in one of my other videos from another channel, these, I don't know how long they've been sitting there, so just for my peace of mind, I am going to go ahead and reseal those. And these bead caps here did get in the subscription box for HomeStrung Jewelry, the Gemstone Orphanage. I have a stainless steel. It is coated with gold, okay? And anything, even if it's stainless steel, if it's coated with something, I like to seal them up, because whether it's brass, iron, or stainless steel, these will rub off eventually, the color coating. So whether you have it in a what do they call that? I can't even think for the moment. But whether it is in gunmetal, gold, rose gold, any other color, if there is a plating over that, you definitely want to seal them up. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Crazy Lace Agate. These are the 6mm rounds. So I'm going to be using those in the project. And I have the crystal. These are like the champagne color in the disc bead colors. They're beautiful. I love the sparkle. And I'm going to be using a clasp here. Now you can use any clasp you want. And of course, if it's a toggle and it is whether it's steel, brass, again, or iron, and it's got a coating, you definitely want to seal those up. So today's going to be how to protect your metals, because like I've mentioned before, we can't have solid gold here, but if we do have gold plating, 18 karat, 14 karat, whatever, or 24, you still want to seal them up. And so today's project obviously is going to be requiring tools. So you're going to need your wire cutters. Now I have these ones here. As you can see here, there is no dents or anything that has ruined the blade here, okay? So they are specific to when I use my copper wire. If you're going to use the, let's see, where are they? If you're going to use any of the 2x2 tubes in crimp beads, you'll need your, as you can see here, this one I have as a 3-step. So if I have something larger than a 2, I can use the back one to crimp that. So the one that we usually use with the number 2 crimp tube would be that middle one. As you can see, there's a little tooth in there. And then this one here at the end will be to cinch it up once you make the bend to make the wires go, a wire go on each side of that tube. If you're going to use the beads, which I am going to use today here, I'm going to use something that I can squash it with this, okay? And I like to use this because it's very small here at the end, and it can get into that small place to prevent me from cracking any of my beads or seed beads that I might have next to the crimp bead. And these ones are my older Zoran, so I am going to use them to cut the wire. The tips on here are very good still to get into that tiny space. And as you can see, this one's a little chewed up because I've used them on beading wire and didn't realize that it was going to, make the, kind of chew it up a little bit. But these are still good here at the tip. So I'm going to be using my older Zoran to cut my wire, which I'm going to be using the 19 strand beetle on. And this is that beautiful satiny gold color. Okay. And, whatever the regular tools that we use. We won't be needing, as far as I know, we won't be needing our round nose pliers. So this particular chain here, I just cut little pieces so I can show you. This is my stainless steel. It's like a 2x3, okay? And I like to have the daintier ones, but this is stainless steel. So I will not be using my new Zoran here to cut those. I'll either use my older one or I'll use my memory wire cutter because steel is very, very tough. So I'm going to show you how to seal that. This is a brass. I do have stainless steel Coriana chain, but I don't seal the stainless steel because it does not tarnish, it doesn't rust and all that stuff. But because stainless steel or brass or iron may be coated with a color, I obviously want to seal that so that the color does not fade. And you want to keep that beautiful bright color. And if some of you have used Coriana chain in a gold or even in a gunmetal, you'll see that it'll fade and it'll just expose what's underneath. And that is what's underneath that will tarnish, rust, and leave marks on your skin, whether it's green or for some people that may be sensitive to, the metals that are underneath. Now, the Protected Clear, and I'll show you that in a minute, the Protected Clear is, will coat this to keep it nice and beautiful, and will give you, I mean, for years, this will protect, I mean, years. And I will show you something. They will keep it for this. Now, I don't use anything less than 2 coats. It depends on what I'm doing. Now, when it comes to like a Coriana chain like this, I'll probably want to have 3 layers of the coating. Kind of the same thing with, stainless steel with a gold coating or rose gold coating, whatever it is you choose. We also have, I want to show you some of, when it comes to ribbon ends. Now, these are, I'm not sure, they don't say whether they're brass or iron, but these are definitely not stainless steel. But if we were to leave these out into the air, you'll start to see them yellow, and it's just not really beautiful. So to keep that silver plating on there, you're going to want to seal them inside and out. So you're going to want to do that first before you attach them to any of your ribbon or however you choose to use these. I also have buttons here, that I'm going to show you how they are done, and you're going to be amazed at how this looks, because I know some people, when they've done videos or they showed you that you can use fingernail polish, that's not it. I'm just telling you that's not it, because anybody who wears fingernail polish, whether it's clear or a color, even within the same day, it starts to chip and peel. So this product, Protected Clear, does not do that, because it's called a self-leveling coating. And the technology on how they created that adheres to the metal. And I'll explain to you what can prevent it from adhering to the metal. Okay, so we're going to go through the whole process. Also, I'm going to show you in items that I have already sealed, okay, in my previous pieces that I have made, okay. And what's good about this coating is you can actually put it over the gemstone. You could put it over a bead, anything that, a crystal, and you'll just get this beautiful clear coating that you can't even tell that it's even on there. So as you can see, I have coated this with like 2 layers, and you can't even tell. There's no lines or chunks or chip marks or anything. And you could put it over glass, and it just gives it this beautiful shine. And this is something, I love Betty Boop. So I have 3 of these charms. So I just wanted to show you that, with these as well, even though it may be stainless steel, I still like to coat it just to protect you from like smudges. You'll get a little bit of smudging, but it does protect you from leaving a very pronounced smudge or fingerprint. Okay. So I'll show you how to do that once it's already been sealed, because the part of the process, you're going to be using what's called a denatured alcohol. And that denatured alcohol can strip what you've already put on there. So I'm going to show you how to, if you're going to recoat something and you don't feel like taking off what you've already put on, the self-leveling will, if there is any part missing, the self-leveling technology that's in the Protected Clear or any of the products from Everbright will level itself, and you won't be able to, it'll be seamless. You won't have any lines. You won't see any of that stuff. But with the items that I have here already sealed, again, I will show you just if for your own peace of mind, or if you have a customer that just says, you know what, I've been wearing this every day for 6 months, can I get a recoat on it? So I will show you that you don't have to take the first coats that you put on there off. You can just reseal it, but that cleaning process is not going to be using the denatured alcohol. Okay, so I'll show you that. All right, so let me put these aside because, like I said, I want to get this project together because these are very tiny, these bead caps here. Okay, now what I'd like to do is make sure your hands are clean and try to get as much of your oils off your hands as possible. Okay, we can clean these with the denatured alcohol prior to putting this together. Okay, just to keep as much residue off of that. And the same thing with your wire guards or anything like that you're going to be attaching to your bracelet. I have some 11-0s here in I guess it's the Olympic bronze or just bronze color. I have 2 8-0s, and I'm using the copper color in my crimp beads. So these, once they are squashed, I am going to seal those because I have tested where even though these are bead-along and they're excellent, these two will tarnish. So I do like to also seal the crimp area of my beads, or of my project. Okay, so let me start with the first step in getting these cleaned. Okay, and then we could put it aside. I'm going to make sure my hands don't have this residue on there that will end up coming back on here. And the reason why you don't want to have any residue on here is because the sealant itself will adhere to whatever residue, whatever oils, whatever dirt, which is on top of the metal. So the reason for cleaning it is so that the protected clear or the sealant is going to go onto the metal and not onto the residue or oils or dirt, because those things, since they're not they can come away from the metal piece, then also what is on top of that residue, oil or dirt, will also go with it. So you want to make sure that they are absolutely free of residue so that the sealant is on the metal and not on anything else that might be on the surface. That way, then you'll have a complete protection of your metal. Okay, so let me go get the other stuff and I'll show you the products, and then we'll start the process and we'll just go through a little bit step by step. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so what we're going to do is start with, now I know you might get a little reflection here, but what I've done is I've taken a clipboard and I've covered it with aluminum foil. Aluminum foil is going to be the best area surface that you're going to put your stuff on, okay, to seal your items, because it sticks less. If it does stick a little bit, which is the reason why when you put on that clear coat, you want to make sure that it is not dripping off your little brush. You know, you want to make sure that you're just putting just enough on there to coat it. And so we're going to be using that clipboard this is how I do it. Okay. And then, so once you have your clipboard ready with your aluminum foil, you are going to, you have gloves, like, okay, because this stuff is it's highly it's a high irritant to the skin, as you can see. It really stinks bad. But as you can see here, this is denatured alcohol. So you don't want rubbing alcohol. You don't want any of that. You have to have denatured alcohol because that absolutely strips any residue, any oils or dirt from the metal that you want to seal. Okay, so the reason for the glove is because if you have your metal pieces in your hand, then what's going to happen is you're going to end up getting the denatured alcohol on your skin, it's going to start stripping the oils from your skin as well. But because it's an irritant, you'll find that you're going to get like white. It'll turn your skin white because it's literally stripping away so much. So you want to prevent any of that irritation on your skin. And I've had this for about 3 years, so it does last a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a wee bit. This is a 4-ounce cup, okay? I'll use this to put some of my homemade cream that I make, but I'm just going to pour in just a tiny bit in there. And the reason for that is it's because it's at a level where I can no longer reach with a Q-tip, okay? So I'm going to put a little bit in there, and it really stinks. So literally you just want something like that, okay? And make sure you don't if you need to wipe it off the sides or anything like that, it does dry really fast, which is a good thing because you want it to strip any oils and other residues off your piece, but you don't want it to take forever to dry because you want to get that sealant on there. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these here. I'm going to put them all in my hand here, okay? And make sure you get the most tight-fitting gloves that you can, okay? Because you're going to be picking up small pieces. Now, you definitely need to know that this can be a time-consuming process, but if you are definitely wanting to have repeat customers because they enjoy your jewelry and knowing that they're not going to get something that's going to turn their skin green or have any kind of rash marks, red marks, any kind of irritation from your pieces, this is a process that is absolutely something you want to be diligent on. And it isn't something that you can just, slap on and skip steps. Because this Protected Clear also makes your jewelry, whether it is iron or brass or anything, so people who have a sensitivity, the Protected Clear makes your jewelry hypoallergenic. And I will give you the links to those particular areas on the website so that you can see it for yourself, of the things that the company makes very clear on their product, what it does, and how it does protect people from allergies. Okay, so I'm going to just dip my Q-tip in there, okay? And then I'm just going to start swirling it around on here. Okay, so you don't have to take each and every one because this stuff will really get to, all those. Okay, and as you can see, you're already starting to see some dirt coming off of that. So I'm going to just turn that around because I got a very fuzzy Q-tip. Okay, and then, just to make sure, some of them will stick together, but once it dries, you'll be able to separate your bead caps. Okay. So what I'm going to do then is at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put them on my clipboard. Be very careful you don't lose any. And they dry in seconds. So you'll be able to, almost immediately go over and do your sealing. Okay, and now I'm going to have this one here. That's it. Flip it over and do the other side. And put that over there. And now, again, these were already sealed, but like I said, just for my own peace of mind, if you don't feel the need to reseal something that you have purchased that was already, tarnish resistant, then you're good. So it's just a matter of tapping a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. Okay. You put those over there. Same thing. I'm just going to use these. Normally, I mean, they're just so tiny. Just a little tap, Okay. So a lot of times and it's up to you. You know, a lot of times people will take a bunch of their metal pieces if they know they're already doing projects with those pieces, get them sealed. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is when you do your sealant, when you put that first coat on, you have to wait an hour before you do your next coating. Okay. And so if you're doing 3 coats, obviously you're going to be waiting the first coat, you wait an hour, put the next one on, wait another hour, put the next one on. Okay. And then, of course, to have it fully cured, if you are inside the house and you're not getting sunlight, direct sunlight, then it's going to take about 4 days for it to be fully cured. If it's summertime and you're outside and you got a beautiful sunny day and you've gotten all your stuff sealed, leave it on your um, aluminum foil. And you're going to want to move things around, because even if you do use a little bit, some can leak down to the side. You don't want it to stick, so you can just go over and just move it a little here and there. Okay. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll do one side first. I'll flip it over. Um, maybe after 30 minutes, flip it over and then seal the other side. And then I'll give it an hour before I come back and do that same process. And so, when you do use the direct sunlight outside, then your stuff will be fully cured in 4 hours. But if you're inside the house, it takes 4 days. So if you are going to make something for someone, um, make sure that before you give it to them, you've at least had 4 days for the sealant to fully cure, or you have sealed it and you tell them, please don't wear it until 4 days have passed to let their sealant cure fully. Okay. That's totally up to you. Okay. So now I have that. So, of course, what I want to do is put this back in the container. Um, I'm going to try to leave a link for all these products that I'm using. So I'm going to put that aside. Now, the Protected Clear here, what I have here, I think this is my 4 ounce. Yes, this is my 4 ounce. I've had this for 3 years and it's barely even gotten down to this level here. So this stuff lasts a long, long time. And so I have this cap on here. And what I'll do is when you open this, you'll see another metal part under here and you have to puncture it because it's metal. Okay. And to make sure nothing is spilled, because like this one, I've had to pry this open before. So as you can see, I've made a hole, and that is where I pour out into a fingernail polish, one of the little ones, because I ordered a 5-pack, but you get a tiny little funnel with it, okay? Just this tiny little funnel. And what you're going to do is put that inside the empty jar or empty bottle. Take the cap off, of course. And then you're going to pour that in slowly until you fill this up. So as you can see, I have some in here. So you want to make sure that everything is cleaned and dust free and all that stuff when you are using this on your stuff, because you'll start to see this get really cloudy if you're not doing the proper steps. Okay. And then you'll know that your sealant itself, the stuff that's in here, is going to be no good, because then now you're just going to add residue to your metals. And so I will also leave a link to the 5-pack that I got that you get with a little funnel for that. Okay. And I usually end up, as soon as I'm done pouring through here, I'll take a Q-tip and wipe it out immediately and then set that aside. Okay. And so again, the Protected Clear, I mean, just if you guys need to pause that, you can get this on Amazon. I will have a link for it. I will also have a link for this for the 16 ounce, I believe it is. The 16 ounce. So I know, I mean, this 16 ounce container is going to last probably longer than me. I'll probably end up going to our Heavenly Father before that thing runs out, because these things last for a very long time. And so I started off with this because I really wanted to see how it was. Because of the research that I did, um, I wanted to make sure that my metals were protected, because not only that, but the smell that comes off of a lot of these metal pieces, oh, it's horrific. Nobody wants to wear that nasty, pungent metal piece, because it does make it, um, just like a cheap piece of junk jewelry. But because, there are those metal pieces that we have to use. So in order to not only give it longevity, but the value is going to be, higher for that because of the time you took to seal these. Okay. So I'm going to take one of these buttons. I'll take actually two, because this one has, larger holes. So I want to do the same thing. I'm going to clean these right now. So I'll come back to this. Same thing. Just want to make sure it's nice and cleaned. Okay. Both sides. Okay. Edges. Okay. And then the next one, same thing. Because I've been touching these all morning with my fingers, so I definitely want to make sure those are cleaned. Okay. Okay. So these are going to dry very, very quickly. And I'll put those over there as well. Put those back over there. Okay. So now I'm going to go to the next step, with showing you how to seal those things. And I'll be right back. Okay. So the best thing to do with, these tiny little bead caps, because there are so many of them. Now you want to get yourself a nice, very thin, um, tweezers here. So I am not going to seal these on here, and because they are too small. So again, keep your gloves on. Do not, if you want to not have your gloves on, then make sure your hands are free of the residue. I want to put these aside because I will seal them after I've completed the project. So I'm going to show you that as well. So for now, I'm going to push those aside, okay? And as you can see, I have right here, I have my wire guards. Okay. I have my shell. I have my lobster claw, and I have a couple of buttons. Not that we're going to use this button in the project, but I definitely want to show you that you're going to see how we do this without you. Again, you don't want to have a big old gloppy thing of this, and this does dry relatively quick, so you want to make sure you're doing these things slowly, or not slowly, quickly, and but neatly. Okay, so again, you don't want to have any kind of fan or AC running, blowing directly at the area in which you're working. So with this, I'm going to take this, and you want to make sure that get all four sides here, and you have enough on your brush. Okay, make sure you don't spill it, because it really stinks. So you can hold this, if you want to hold that here, and you'll see you start to coat it. Okay, you don't need to glop it on there. Okay, now you're going to dip again. Okay, and make sure you don't have it all dripping down. Okay, you want just enough to coat it. Okay, so, and it's best that you don't glop it on there, because you know that you're going to need an hour for it to dry up. Okay, And if you have it glopped on there, then it's going to take a little bit longer, and then it'll just start dripping over the sides. Now, because it's self-leveling, it's going to go right to every crack and crevice and shape that this is in, okay? Then I'm going to leave that there. Okay, and about half an hour, I'll flip those over and do the other side. And then when I do that, then I'll wait another hour to do the second coat and do the same thing. So we definitely want all sides of your metal, okay? So what I'm going to do here, same thing. Now with this here, again, make sure that it isn't dripping like crazy. You just want enough, and you'll find that these things will move around. So that's why you want something to perhaps find a tiny area or to hold it in place, okay, so that you can do that. And you just brush it over. Now, when you are done sealing this, you'll find that you'll have to crack open your lobster claw again, because it will seal this shut in a way, but you're just a little bit of pressure will reopen that. Okay, so I have that one side, and again, so I'll probably wait like 30 minutes, flip it over, do the other side. And if you're not able to lift something up or hold it in place, you know, then just quickly do something to do that. So when you know that it's going to start dripping over the side, that's when you want to just keep moving it around, okay? So you can just kind of dab it, okay? And just keep them separated, okay? And because you know that some is going to get onto the aluminum foil, that's, like I said, you want to start moving it around to keep it from sticking. And this aluminum foil is the least resistant when it comes to sticking, but it still will. So I'm just going to keep moving this around. You know, keep checking it every couple of minutes. Okay, because these I still have to turn over and do the other side quickly. Okay, so, but these beads are probably pretty much covered. So I'm just going to move them over. And again, you'll find that if you have too much on there, you will find a chunk of something. So you want to try to prevent that as much as possible. Okay, and try to not touch it as much. Okay, so that's how you're going to do your metals. Now, for when it comes to chain, I want to move these over because I'm going to end up doing those. You know, in about 30 minutes. Let's move that over. So like with chains and stuff, obviously they are very thin, so you're going to find that they probably will do a little sticking. So the same thing when it comes to, you know, the smaller pieces here. You're going to want to keep moving them around so that they are just adhering to the metal and not, you know, whatever it is you have on here. So what I'll do here is I'll take that again. You want to make sure you don't have it all glopping or running off your brush. Okay. So you can hold one end and then just do it very lightly. Go over that quickly. Okay. And if you're holding one end, at some point you'll be able to get that other end once you're know that this is safe enough to grab over here. Now, when it comes to cable chain and things like that, you know that this is going to get stiff, okay? Which means then you're gently going to have to break the sealant apart as you run your fingers through the chain. And I will show you that when that time comes, okay? Okay. So obviously, when it comes to these things, you're going to know that it's going to stick right to this. All right. So again, you just keep checking it every couple of minutes. This is why it's, for some people, it might be best that you get them all all your pieces that you're going to be working on, get it done all at once. Okay, so see, I'm going to be moving those around again. And then just, again, just kind of moving it away from any of that sealant that went underneath that chain, those chains. So it's just a matter of moving them around every couple of minutes, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all this aside, and this one I'm going to flip over in a few minutes to do that, to seal that up. You definitely don't want these wet or even somewhat not dry enough when you go to attach them to your jewelry pieces, okay? Because then you will smudge it or whatever. They do have to be dry. So I'm going to go ahead in about 30 minutes, flip that over, do the other side, okay? Then I'll know that it's sealed somewhat before I actually attach it to my piece. And then if I want to add another coat, I can do that after I've already created my project, okay? So I will get that, get the other pieces out, and we'll do a project. And I'll show you how we seal it with them on the project, okay? And then from that point, I'm not sure yet, maybe part 2, I will show you how to do the ones that are already sealed and how you actually clean those first before you reseal, okay? All right, so I will be back with the project pieces, and we'll make that project. All right, so this part of the video, I'm going to just get our project together, and I'm going to show you how we're going to seal them. So again, you want to make sure everything is cleaned off, because this is, again, something you can choose to do before, and sealing all your stuff before you actually make your project, or if you choose to do it after. So make sure all your stuff is cleaned with that denatured alcohol. Make sure your hands are free from any residue or anything like that. Okay, so I have here with that beading wire, I have about 10 inches here. Now, you can use a bead bug if you want to clip the end, if you don't have a bead bug. Okay, when you put your beads on, that prevents that from falling. If you don't have those, we have these that you can get at the Dollar Tree, or I have these tiny little things that I found in the arts and crafts area at the Dollar Tree, and they're just these teeny weeny little clothespins, and you can use those as well. Or you can go ahead and crimp one of your ends here. So what I'm going to do is use these gold clamshells that I have here, and I'm going to go ahead with those crimp beads that I had already sealed. I had enough time to go ahead and make sure they're dry. And again, they're on the inside. They'll be on the inside of the clamshells, but if you choose to use them on the outside, underneath perhaps your wire guards, then, just make sure that it's nice and straight and even, and then you can reseal it again if you want. So, but I chose to go with the clamshells today because, again, I want to show you how we can go ahead and seal those once you've made your project. So with this, what I'm going to do is put on the clamshell. Oops. Put on a clamshell right through the bottom there. Okay. You can just open it up just a wee bit. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and put on the crimp bead. So what I'm going to do here is take what I'm going to use to flatten, and I'm going to make sure this is nice and straight. I don't want it crooked. I'm just going to bring it right to the end, just about the end. You can have a little sticking out if you want, as long as it's not a lot. Okay, and make sure that's nice and straight. Oops. All right, so go ahead and grab that here. I want to make sure it's nice and straight. I can put that wire through there. I'm going to go ahead and squash. Okay. I want to make sure it's really on there. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring up that clamshell. And I'm going to give that a close. And it is small enough to close it so you can have it going straight across instead of going this way. It's small enough so you're still able to close your clamshell. Make sure it's all lined up nice. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and put our beads on. So I want to add a 8/0 of my Olympic bronze. Okay, so it kind of looks like it's just running nicely together here. And again, when you have clamshells, you don't want this super tight. And I'm going to try to use one of these because I want to just have one at each end. So I'm going to start off, actually. No, I'm not going to do that. Sorry about that. Because I am not starting with one of the Crazy Lace agate. I am starting with these crystals. Okay, so I'm going to take one. I'm going to go in through the top part. I'm going to put on a crystal and then another bead cap going in the opposite direction. So you have that. Okay. And now we're going to put on another bead cap facing like you're just going to be putting one on each side of the crystals. So of course, two of them will be back to back like that. And then another bead cap. Let's see, they're so tiny, it's hard to hold sometimes. Okay, and then another one. Going to be facing the opposite way, back to back with the other one. And excuse me, one of these. And then we're going to go ahead and add that on there. Okay, so it's going to look like that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add an 11/0. Just add an 11/0. And then we're going to add one of the Crazy Lace 6mm, another 11/0. And then we're going to go ahead with putting on 3 of the crystals. And a bead cap for each side of each crystal. And just always double check your work. Okay, so that, you know, if you've made a mistake at this point, then you can fix it before you get on all the other beads. And you don't want to have to take them all off, because that would not be fun. And sorry if I sound like I'm talking really quiet. It's just I have my neighbors are home. It's the weekend. Whoops. See what I did was I put 2 in the same direction. I want them back to back. So, but anyway, so my neighbors, and I just want to try to be quiet and not be so loud when I talk. Okay, so that's going on in this direction. And a crystal, a bead cap. Okay. And then a bead cap. in the opposite direction because it's just going to be facing the crystal. So you're going to have 3 crystals. A crazy lace agate, 3 crystals, crazy lace agate. Okay, so another 11O. A crazy lace agate and 11O. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. This is that pattern. Okay, it's just really pretty. I wanted an extra sparkly bracelet this time around. And all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish that same pattern and bring it to the desired length. Okay, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. We're going to end this one with our clamshell and our crimp bead. But what I did was I made a little change here. And because I did want to start it off with the gemstone at the end. So I took out the 8O and just put one of those little gold bead caps there, as you can see. And then I just put 11O between the other side of the gemstone and the crystals. And that is how I'm going to end this other side too. So this comes to about 6.5 inches from here. And then, so it's going to be about 6 3/4. Let's see. Yeah, about 6 3/4 when we add this. So by the time we add our 6mm for the lobster claw to clip onto that and that, it's going to be about 7 inches. And that's going to be perfect for me because, again, I don't like my bracelets tight around my wrist. I like them to dangle a little bit more towards this area of my hand. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to go put on a crimp bead. Oops, I'm going to put on the clamshell first. Sorry about that. So just gently open it a wee bit. Okay, we're going to stick that on first. We're going to bring that down. Then we're going to take our crimp bead and bring that down. And then I'm going to take my little squisher thing, my Zoran pliers. And again, I want to get in here. And you don't want it too tight. You just want it to be where it's going to be a natural flow, okay? So you can bend it this way just so you know that you're going to get the curvature that you're going to need when you get it around your wrist so that you're not putting so much pressure on your crystals that they'll crack and break. So I'm going to come in here. I hope you can see that. Let me see if I can bring this closer. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and squish. Again, you don't want it super tight. Gravity will do the work. It's not always easy, though, to get this. So if you have to bring it up in order to get it in between your pliers, that's not the easy part. So, okay, now I can bring it down and then go ahead and squash. You really want to make sure that it's really closed up on your... Okay. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and snip that. Make sure it's tight so you can give it a little tug, and then snip your wire. Make sure I'm getting it. Okay. And then I want to go ahead and close that. And then what I'll do, because as you can see, it's still open a little bit. Just take your little pliers and come along the sides. Flip it over, same thing. And gently. Just want to make sure it's lined up nice. Okay, so here we are. I'm just going to go ahead and open up my jump rings. So I'm going to grab my flat nose. These are my mini wubbers for little hands. Oops. Well, that one went flying. Okay, so I'll just grab the other one. That's why you always have to have at least a spare hanging around, because at some point they will go flying off somewhere into the abyss. So we're going to go ahead and open that. I'm going to put that on here. Okay, and then put it on the clasp. And then give it a nice close. Oops. All right, and then this side will just be for, now you can hang it directly on there if you want, or you can add another 4mm. And using the clams is great for that, because then if you need to extend it, you can. Okay, so I am just going to add the jump ring to that. And then if I need to make any changes or add a 4mm, I will. All right. All right, so now that I have this, now what I'm going to do is make sure that it's clean. The one thing about not using denatured alcohol is anything that has been electroplated. So if you have electroplating on any of your crystals, your beads, or anything to give it its color, or whatever it is that they are electrifying, or whatever they're going to be doing to plate your beads, the denatured alcohol is not for that. It will take it off. So if you are unsure, then what you can do is wash these with gentle soap, something that doesn't leave a lot of residue. So if you have, like, I guess Dawn is good for that, doesn't leave residue. So you want to wash it, rinse it thoroughly, and then let it dry completely, okay? And then you can go ahead and add your sealant onto these. So what I'm going to do is go clean this, and then I'll have it dry, and I'll be back and just go ahead and seal it with you on the video. And then I'm going to have to do a part 2 to show you the other stuff regarding the ones that are already sealed. So there is going to be a part 2 and different techniques you can use regarding the sealant and all of that good stuff. Okay, so let me go finish washing that, letting it dry, and then I'll be right back with getting this sealed for you right here on the video. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, so we're back to go ahead and seal this up. And on my part 2, I'm going to make sure that I have everything so I don't have to do a part 3. I don't think it'll end up being that way, but just to have everything you need and not having these videos extremely long. So this one I'm sure is, but because we did a project also. So I hope that you enjoyed that anyway. So I have it laid out here, and I want it in a straight line at this point because we want to get in between those beads. Now with this stuff, it does not matter if you get it on the beads, okay, because it's just going to adhere and level to the shape of whatever this is going on, okay? So if it goes on a round bead, it's just going to, adhere to its shape, it's going to level to its shape. So that's kind of a nice thing. Plus it is crystal clear and you won't see, you know, lines in it like if you were to add fingernail polish or something like that, or some sort of glue. So again, you don't need this dripping, sopping wet. And again, you have to work kind of fast because it does dry up quickly. And you'll start to feel it when you start feeling your brush here start to stiffen. Okay. So we're going to go ahead with sealing this again because this was the one that I had sealed for the first time. So this is going to be the second part of the second layer for the clasp anyway. So I want to make sure that it's all straight. Everything is straight. Oops, that flipped over. So we want to get it back to the other side. Sorry about that. Everything's getting a little wackadoo here. All right, so let me put it that way. Hopefully you can see. So we're just going to work it inch by inch, I guess. So make sure you got that again. And I want to make sure I can get as much as I can because we may have to flip it over just to get the other side of that clamshell if you're not able to reach. And then in here, because you want to get to that bead cap that's in there, even though it's very tiny. And pretty much if you do like that, it should flow down to the other side of that bead cap. Okay? So again, just work quickly but neatly. Okay? And look, see if you were to put this right over there, this is going to adhere right to these. And you'll still get the sparkle in them. Okay, just want to make sure. And then just use the tiniest of anything to grab onto that. I'm going to keep moving forward. So you can even do your bead, your gemstone. It's actually pretty good for it. And you'll see when this comes out, you'll be like, I don't see any lines, you know, like it doesn't leave a streak. That's the thing. It's self-leveling. And that's why after I did my research and saw everything that was what this does, I was like, that's it. I was sold. I was like, that's what I want. I don't want something that is just going to leave streaks or big chunks that will just peel off. It's not what I was looking for. And so when somebody tells you go ahead and put clear fingernail polish on there, I mean, that's literally a temporary thing for even a day. I don't know. I would not sell my jewelry with fingernail polish, clear fingernail polish on it. That's just, I don't know. For me, it's just not cool. Okay. And this should go around. And again, it should follow it down to the other side. Because some things, like something round like this, you're not going to be able to flip it over. So by having it, brushing it like that and dabbing it, whatever liquid is left over, the gravity will pull it down to cover the other part that you're not able to directly reach from this area or from this angle. So I'm going to just go ahead and pull this out. And then just do that. And again, make sure you don't have a ton dripping. And I'm able to get to both sides of this clamshell because the angle that it's on. So that's a good thing. So my brush going in between like that, I can get both sides. And your jump rings, of course. So unless it's just pure stainless steel, it's not necessary unless you want to. And if somebody says they are absolutely sensitive to even stainless steel, which is very rare. So if they say that they can't even wear stainless steel, having this coating on there will make it hypoallergenic, okay? So we'll go ahead and leave that there, and I'll come back and I'll try it on, and I will have a part 2 to finish off the everything else that we can cover regarding sealing and protecting your metals, okay? So I'll be right back to show you what that looks like. All right, everyone, here it is. And it just is so, so sparkly. And I still have yet a few more days for it to cure. And I did go ahead and add that little clamshell right there as a dangle, even though I didn't do it on the video, but I'm sure you guys know how to open up and close a jump ring at this point and add whatever charm you want if you choose to do this style. And it's all set and just so, so beautiful. And look at that sparkle. Isn't that just so pretty? So dainty. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. So again, everybody, look out for part 2 because I'm going to go through a resealing on ones that you've already sealed. And I will also go over those things for wire and metals that you have oxidized yourself. And I guess whatever I can come up with at that time. So part 2 will be coming out, and I hope that you have a blessed and glorious and beautiful night or day, whatever time you're watching this. So everyone, happy beading, and we will see you on the next video, God willing. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.